Hi, everyone. Welcome to our last episode of 2021.
Our last episode, I cannot believe it's the end of 21 and we've made it this far. I can't believe it. We stuck with it.
I know. And it's going really well. This crazy idea of just putting our conversations on video and on the podcast. It is really cool that in our community, people are finding value in this, and they're going like, oh yeah, I'm there too. I'm going through the same things. Or this is cool. I'm really enjoying it. It's like our journaling.
Our journaling.
It is, right?
It's our verbal journaling. It is really cool. And I was gonna say something and I forgot.
And this episode is kind of like a wrap up of where we're at, and I'm excited of the new things that we're planning for next year in our careers and with Illo Chat as well. I'm excited about this. We're doing good.
Yeah. And the way people find us is with reviews, and we have very few reviews. So I'm not sure how people are finding us. It must be by word of mouth. So thank you. But the more reviews we get, the higher we go in the ranking on podcasts, and the more people can find us. So we really appreciate if you're watching us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, whatever, just leave a quick review. You don't have to write anything even. You can just do stars, but we'd appreciate it.
So that's Sunny polite way of saying, give us a review. just let us know if you liked it.
Yeah.
And also, like, we love getting questions, because we will bring those up in some future episodes, and if it's a question that we can answer right away, we usually do it right there with messaging. But questions that can turn into an episode, bring them on. Send us questions in any way, email or social media, it's fine. Yeah. We also want to let you know about the newsletter. We started the newsletter, and that's really coming along really nicely. I like that we don't do this huge newsletters, because when I get newsletters that I have to read through a ton of text, I don't read them. I'm like, okay, I'm done. You have no patience for it.
Yeah, if you're sending a novel in your newsletter, I won't read it.
Yeah. So thinking about that, we were really conscious about making quick banners that you can read. You want to know the news here. You want to know any contests or any giveaways that we're giving right here. You want to know, it's resources right here. And it's always going to have kind of like that easy visual format. So it is not a novel every time to extract the information. Yeah. So subscribe to the newsletter, and
we'll be announcing upcoming giveaways or live draws or topics we'll be discussing.
Well, I'm glad that you mentioned the live draws, because when we do live draws, I think only the people that are actually following us will know about them, unless they know in the newsletter. So every month we're trying, and it's, don't hold us up to that, but we're trying to do every month a live draw where we actually go on Instagram. For now, it's on Instagram. I don't know if we'll move to YouTube later, but we draw and we talk, and you can ask questions and draw with us and just see the process. And it's just kind of behind the scenes. Sometimes we talk about what we plan to do, and it's fun.
Yeah. Talk about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
And they usually last about an hour.
Yeah. I mean, the last one was, I think, a little bit longer, because people were talking and kind of discussing. It's a good way to network too, because they get to know each other.
Yeah.
And like I said, we answer any questions. I think we got into like how I mess up my whole keyboard with, with I put
you color on your keyboard.
I color, so that I can remember which keys are the hot keys. And so what? It was very human, and I loved how natural and real we were able to be, how raw we were able to be. So
and it's fun really chatting with people or in the chat. Be able to talk to people.
Yeah, that was nice. So we will do more of those. But if you want to know when they're at, you got to subscribe to the newsletter so you can be more aware of it. So our last episode of 2021, and here we are. And I guess we should talk a little bit about what you were doing. You want to go first, or I go first?
I'm still coloring. still coloring picture illustrations for and
for the bear book.
Yeah. And I finished the middle grade cover a while ago, but then he requested some interior illustrations for the chapter pages, but just like small sketches, which those are mostly done. We've just had a few revisions back and forth. And I'm also, and this is something, I don't know if you had this happen last year, but kind of doing a recap with your agent and setting goals for the new year. Did you do that last year?
Last year we didn't.
But you were really, it was pretty new. You were new.
It was my first year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So last year I would have been only 4 months signed in, and we sold the book 4 months later. But you know, but this year we actually had a recap and our plans for next year, and I loved it. I love that. I'm so excited about next year. Yeah. Go ahead, continue with your thing. I know you have, because I know there's a few things that I had there going
so
on.
that's what I'm. Oh yeah, so that's what led me to, well, I mean, I have been working on manuscript for a while, and I had a book dummy, but I resubmitted that manuscript to my agent, and then we have been working on it over the last few months, and finally it's at a point where I'm ready to do the illustrations for that. So that's exciting, because I didn't know this, but you know, the publishers closed down submissions for the month of December, like mid-December. Or late. I mean, so everything needs to be done before that. So if you're going to submit, you need to be ready earlier than mid-December or early December even. So we'll probably hopefully be ready by next year. So that's exciting.
Yeah, so you pass your first gatekeeper. When your agent goes, yeah, this is ready, let's go, and you get the green light to go into dummy. That's cool. That's fun.
So we'll see how that goes.
I'm excited to see it. I'm really excited to see it, because I saw the first dummy of it, but the story has changed so much, and it's so much better. I love it.
It is. And that's what you say this all the time, and you love the process of editing. And I guess, especially when I didn't have an agent, I didn't love the process of editing, because for me, I felt like, because felt like it's all on your shoulders, and you don't have it. Once you have especially an agent that will work with you, or a really good critique group that will work with you back and forth, your story develops into something completely beyond what you first would have even thought of, and it may go in a completely different direction, but it's always better. It's always better than where you started.
It gets meatier. It has more weight to it, where your idea was just on the surface and it was really good, and it's like, oh, this is perfect, and I cannot get it any better. It's almost like you dive in and you're like, okay, this is the scary bottom, we're going to go to the bottom of the ocean, but then that's where you find the good stuff, and it's just it's exciting. It's work. I'm not gonna lie, it's work. When you have to, and then when you get to the end, I do want to do an episode about writing. I really, really do. But we will at some point. But when you get to the point that you're just deciding that all of the big stuff is solved, and now you're just deciding the right word, and it is a word that would make a difference, and it's like, well, that's just not the right word for this sentence. That when you get to that point, you're like, okay, this is ready, so ready to be sent out. And I like that.
It's a good feeling. Oh,
so I guess we'll wait on this. Oh, well, okay, that's right.
Cheers.
That's right.
Cheers.
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 Look at this.
Oh, how's
stuff.
So we made some merch.
Yes. Oh, but in the podcast that people won't know, you have to see it in the video. We have some mugs that
we made with our logo.
Yes. Oh, and I have a little pin there. You sent me this for Christmas, which I thought was the cutest thing. And I love your note. Merry Christmas, partner. I'm like, oh, You touched me like from everything. That was my favorite. I
Oh.
kept it. That was my favorite thing. Merry Christmas, partner.
So I could have just sent you a card with Merry Christmas.
You could have
partner.
just sent that. You could have sent me a text. We don't be like, oh, it doesn't take much. But this was so cool. So Sunny took our logo and put them in mugs, and she sent me
I
this
love
for
it.
Christmas, and I
It's on both
absolutely love
sides.
it. It's so cute. And it's a good mug too. I had tea with
Nice.
honey and lime.
Nice.
And lime, not lemon, because for some reason I like it with lime better. I don't know. There you go. Some info. What do you have in your
Coffee.
coffee?
Coffee.
I
Coffee.
had coffee this morning, and I had to have it black because I didn't have cream, and I'm like, yeah.
Oh, then I would definitely go with tea.
Well, no, I had my coffee because I needed to wake up. Last night was not I don't know, I couldn't sleep good.
It's
And I
been hard
knew it.
lately.
Remember I told you I should work, because when I'm not sleepy, then I just sit there and think and think and think. And that's not a good thing at 3 a.m. to be like, this is gonna be crazy, because I have like anxiety, so and it gets the best of me sometimes. So I'm like, I gotta keep it all together. I was already like thinking about what I would do in an episode in 2025, or what I would be doing in 2025 when my children leave home, and that feeling of, my goodness, that they're out in the world, that they're okay. And then what do I do with all this time? This was last night. Does that even make sense? So that's why when I'm not sleepy, I work, because then my mind is busy in that.
Your mind needs to be occupied, or
it does, because if not, it goes, I wonder if, and I do not like the what ifs. I don't, because sometimes they're good what ifs, sometimes they're bad what ifs. But so yes, I that's what happened last night. So this morning coffee had to happen. All right, I'm gonna. Oh yeah, so the stuff I'm looking back at our notes, because we are. If by this time everybody knows we get distracted,
I don't know where we are.
I have heard. We have heard so many people going like, you guys are so funny, you might made us laugh. That's good. Laugh.
Good.
We needed it. So my gosh, my next year is packed, and yeah, you know that. So I'm gonna be one of the coaches. So the SCBWI, our region, SCBWI is having this created coaching and a mentoring program. And I'm going to be one of the coaches, and I'm super excited. It's my first time doing this. It's going to be fun. I'm going to be in charge of the picture book cohort for beginners and intermediate.
I love that they're doing this. I think it's such a great idea.
If this would have been around, I would have done it. So how it works is like I will be the coach for that one, and once a month we meet with video. With, I think the limit is capped to 6 participants, at least in my section of picture books. 6 participants, and we have like an hour and a half to discuss and we critique the work. They send me the work, I critique it, I give a written out critique with how to improve it, and they give each other also critiques.
I like that too. That's great.
Yeah. So you are getting, if there's 6 participants, you're getting 7 critiques on your work. That's super good. And then the next meeting, we discuss it again, and we give any more feedback, and you progress the work. And it can be like the same work. Maybe you're doing a whole entire story and you're getting it from the beginning to end. Or if you're done with that one and you feel confident with that one, you can present a new piece of work. I think it's not, and since I'm doing picture book, it's going to be, I'll be fine with dummies or manuscripts or illustrations. Since I'm both.
Does it have to be at a certain point when they start the program?
Yes, you have to be at a point that you already know. I mean, I am beginner and intermediate, so it has to be, but it has to be at a point that you feel like, okay, I got this. I'm not just well,
I think it has to have they have to have like a written manuscript already that either they've turned into a dummy or it's just a manuscript, but they're kind of ready to.
Yeah, they have to have, and they have to have had critique groups. They have to understand how a critique group works too. And the website, I think we can put the link for it in the newsletter this time. And I'll try to share it, but go to the SCBWI. To any SCBWI member can enter from anywhere.
Yeah, but it's in our region, which is,
But it's held by the
our
people in our region.
Our region is the Maryland, Delaware,
West Virginia. Yeah.
Pennsylvania. Well, how many?
Maryland, Delaware, and West Virginia. But it is open to any SCBWI member. So I'm going to be doing that. And that is from January to June. I put July here, but July is our last meeting, just kind of like we have finished. But yeah, it's going to be 6 months. It's a good mentorship. So I'm excited about that one.
That's cool.
Then I need to finish the illustrations. I'm almost done with interiors, and I see it. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe all of this work was done. And I love seeing it all together. I see the colors of it. I'll go back and finish the thing. And I'm starting to work on the cover now, which I want to put a lot of effort into it.
Yeah, that's something that I'm covers. I mean, I've been working on covers a lot in the last year, hoping I can do, I don't know. The cover always gets me. It's just always the part that I'm just kind of like, it's not an afterthought for me. I mean, I usually see it right away, but I don't like approaching it. I don't like doing it. I think because it
carries so much weight.
Yeah, I feel a lot of pressure with the cover. And I don't know. And
I'm excited about the cover. See, I like the interior stuff is like, okay, tedious here, little cup here, a little this. When you're illustrating something that spot, for example, okay, my least favorite pages are when there's a lot of illustrations, like 4-spot illustrations, because each of those is literally really an illustration. And here I am drawing this little tiny cup and this little thing. And I'm like, when I actually zoom out, you're barely going to see that, but it's important that it's there. So so that's a lot of work for one spread to have 4 spots. But when I get to the cover, I'm excited about it. And so I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, but I understand that it holds a lot of weight. But remember, it's not just me. The art director is helping out. The editor is helping out. Marketing. So everybody will be like, this works. This doesn't work. Can you make it this? Can you make it? So I'm really excited about this. I think it's getting real now.
Oh yeah.
And I have some illustrations I have to do for promotion for my agency, because we're going to be doing they're going to be doing some promoting of their illustrators. So that's really good. I love my agency. I love my agent, actually, I should say, because I've moved with her. I will be traveling to go see my parents after Christmas. They had some health issues, so they were not able to come here. Usually Christmas, I have a ton of family coming, and this year's just us, just the 4 of us. And it's very weird. So after Christmas, I'm going to go see them for a while.
You're not going to know what to do with yourself.
I'll work at night. And I'll be, and I'm excited about this one.
I know.
Planning to go to the regional conference in March. And I'm super excited because I love the conferences for the SCBWI, but I'm especially excited because I'm going to see you in person. Oh my gosh. So if you guys have been following the podcast, Sunny and I met in 2019 at a conference in the spring for less than an hour. And then this friendship started, this partnership began, and I have never seen her in person since.
I know.
We have not. We live about 2.5 hours away, is it? Maybe.
Yeah, I think so. I'm a little further than your cousin, I think, from you. Like
so
20 minutes further.
Maybe let's 2 hours and 45 minutes, close to 3. If and in the scheme of the whole thing, you go 3 hours. It's not a big deal. We can each drive an hour and a half and meet. But the problem is we can't COVID. Unless well, not only COVID, families. We're like, how do I do it and still get back on time to continue? So unless we have talked about, let's just take a weekend and let's go and find a place and we stay overnight and we don't have that rush. But so I am super excited about the conference for that reason.
Pre-COVID, we had talked about, there was a meetup you were at that I was supposed to go to. I forget why I couldn't make it. I think I was working at the art gallery then. I couldn't go. So so yeah, there were several times where we were going to meet up and we didn't, and that was in 2019. And then but then in 2020 we were like, oh, we'll see each other at the conference, and then the conference got canceled and COVID happened, and then for the whole of 2020 we just avoided everyone.
So I think this shows you that you don't really need that in-person thing to actually make a friendship deep like this. I mean, I'm gonna get all teary. I mean, I might cry if I see you there.
We do see each other though.
On camera.
I mean, we see each other, and we do meet. We're in a critique group together too, so that has helped.
Yeah, we're in 2 critique groups, so we do.
We do everything.
We do see each other every week because we have an illustrators critique group that we meet on camera every week, and we have our writings. It has, and we talk about life, and we are, for friends. So it does help. But yeah, I'm super excited too.
Oh yeah, no,
give you a hug.
Like you really exist.
Yeah, you are real. So, and we'll probably do something for the podcast. Then it will be cool too. And we'll do something. So this is spring of 2019. So we'll see how that turns out.
Spring of 2020.
Oh my Lord, yes, 2022. 2022.
Yeah. Gosh. Yeah, that's hard to believe. So that's 3.
Right.
Yeah, 3 years. Is that 3 years?
Yes. Well, if we met in 2019.
Oh no, 2 years. Wait. No, yeah, 3.
Let me count with my fingers. 19, 20, 21, 22. It would be 3 years. So it will be 3 years later that we see each other.
Wow.
Very cool. Yeah. We should probably get into this episode because people
Yeah.
are going like, okay, we are enough of your lives, people. Give us something.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, we do have to make one announcement. Before we get into the meat of that episode, we have an announcement. At the end of this episode, we're going to tell you all the details about this contest we're going to be running. And it's kind of like to give something back to you for all your support this year. And I think it's good. It's a good thing that's going to further your career. So stay tuned at the end of the episode for the details. All right, Sandy, let's get to it.
Yeah. So this episode is, are you afraid to call yourself an artist? And that's something, and I think, and I know all artists and illustrators deal with this. When someone asks you, what do you do? Your first reaction, especially if you have a side job or if you have anything else going on, even if you're just a mother, your first reaction is probably not to say that you're an artist, because we feel like we have to, we feel like that, I don't know, for me, this is kind of a weird topic. Like not weird, but we usually say like things like yes, but, or yes, I am, but, or yeah, it's a hobby, or yes, I like to draw, or yes, but we don't say like, this is my career, this is something, or this is who I am. Actually, I think it's just who you are. You can't deny it.
You know, you said it, yes, but just yesterday, I was at Panera. My dog was at the groomer, so I was drawing from there. And a waitress approached me and she was like, oh, you draw. And, you know, and I try to pick like the little corner I'm away from everybody because I'm actually like just working. And those were her words. I also draw, but I don't draw like that yet. And it's like
oh, she said that.
But yeah,
she said yes, but
yeah, there's like that. Yes, but I don't. You know, when you named it something when you're afraid to call yourself an artist. I named it when you finally call yourself an artist and you don't cringe, because I finally got there in my personal that I am an artist. Love it, deal with it. This is what it is, and it's just the way we feel about it that is an issue. But society, you know, has put artists in this weird category for some reason. the careers that I chose, for example, before like thinking of going into law, or my dad wanted me to be a dentist. Like being an artist was never a career choice or a career, how can I say, like a legitimate, it was not seen as a legitimate career opportunity for anyone. And I think that is why I kept having that, the word artist almost feel like a dirty thing. Like see, my brother did go into the arts too, but he worked for Disney. And that was like, yes, that's legitimate.
Because they're an established
right
company that pays well, that people can understand and associate with the arts.
It was working for, like you said, an establishment,
a company. Yeah.
But the whole artist thing, like we think of Van Gogh and we think of all of these eccentric persons, and they're not okay. So part of being a creative person in your personality, we are, and I'm not going to say every artist, but part of the creativity, I think, comes from that personality of being
thinking outside of the box. That's what makes you creative.
Some people see it as, oh, we're flaky or not committed or unfocused, and or because there are artists out there that are very linear as well, but they still are able to tap into that creativity. But as society, I think it was never looked at as, because it's always tied up to profit.
Yeah.
And unfairly so.
Success is usually tied to profit.
It is. And that's unfairly so in the artist community, because see, even the word artist community in my head has this hippie sounding,
commune.
Yeah. And it's wrong, because now I come to understand what it means. It means a group of people. And I think part of accepting this was finding my community where I fit, where before I was in a group of people that worked in an office and police officers, and like a different kind of, like my brother's a police officer, for example. I have a bunch of firefighters, and there's in my family, it's just a different area. And I was always the artist, and I'm doing this with quotations, the artist, kind of like, oh yeah, the artist. And I fought so hard to try not to be the artist, that I was pursuing a law career and working in a law firm. And at night I would go to the community college and take art classes. The entire time I'm there, I'm doodling in little Post-it notes. I'm like, obviously I'm in the wrong field. Obviously I'm doing something wrong. But like I said, it's tied to profit. It's not fair, because you would not say that to a bus driver. Hey, you're a driver. Yes, you're a driver, or you're a teacher, or you are a plumber, or you are how about a scientist? It doesn't matter if their invention didn't come up and made money. They're a scientist, they're an engineer. They are what they are, and it's applauded. But artists, for some reason, at least in my mind, or what I perceive from society, it wasn't.
Yeah.
And also in some communities, some parts of the world, and some cultures, it might not be the most acceptable or applauded careers.
Yeah. It's not on the same level as traditional, or well, not traditional, as other occupations. It is an occupation, but for us it's more about just who you are. For me, I grew up in a very artistic family. My mother was an illustrator, and I grew up with my grandmother and my mother, and my grandmother was a writer. So but she was a travel writer. So artist wasn't a dirty word in my family. It was just thrown around and used like every day. But seeing, and so I was, art was encouraged, and being creative was always encouraged with everyone in my family. They were happy when I was drawing or painting or um but seeing where um I didn't know anyone who was extremely successful through art. I think that's what my roadblock was. So
Right.
growing up, I always felt that if I wanted to be successful in life, I would have to go a different route. That, that would, I didn't see a way that art could be profitable or bring me stability. So I, being an artist, still felt like still felt like a part of me, like who I was, but I didn't feel like it could be actually a career because it just didn't seem feasible. I didn't see I didn't see the road for that, or how that would even be possible in the environment I was in.
Because the artists that you knew did not have, or the artists
Once
that you were
they
no, see,
struggled.
that doesn't mean it's not successful, but she see what, and this is the thing, successful if you are only doing illustration to carry you financially, then no, then neither of us are, because we also depend on our husband's income. So that's not that, I think that is a negative way of thinking. So if you are I don't know, if you're a teacher, but your household cannot survive under one income only, does that mean you're not a teacher? No, you're a teacher. It's like, if you're a teacher and you don't get paid as much as other teachers, are you less of a teacher? So why, I don't understand why being an artist is tied up to income that way. Like, oh, you're successful if you sold something, or you're not successful. No,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous to put that pressure, and it's not fair to this whole industry. Who cares if a lot of the illustrators have to have a second job?
Yeah.
It's just,
True.
that tells you there's a problem with the industry, that is not paying for the work that, that this is a lot of work.
Yeah.
Now, so then you will ask the question, then why would anybody choose this field? I can't imagine myself doing anything else. I did it and I wasn't happy doing it. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, I do feel like being an artist has something inside. I don't know what it is. Like, do you feel happy when you're not creating? Like, don't you have
No.
that call, that drive to do it?
Yeah. And I've always been creative in some way. Like I always have to have some type of creative outlet, or I do this all the time. I literally will turn the job I'm working at into I will find creative things within that field. I always look for ways outside of the box to be creative, even if I'm in a super boring job.
Yeah, I like at an office job, making the little tabs on different colors, and let's make this section a different color,
Yeah.
and it had nothing to do, and it's extra work.
But it makes you happy.
And honestly, I think the world needs that, and then it's necessary to have all the people that do different things. Do you imagine, like, if everything was just streamlined this way and this way, and we don't get to explore, and it just would make it a very boring world, I think.
It would be boring.
I think that if in high schools, for example, if they would really teach what being an artist, like art class is considered like the fly course, you're like, oh, okay. If, and at least when I was in high school, there wasn't anything that said these are the career choices you have if you want to be an artist. Like graphic design was only the only one that you would hear about. Graphic design, like you said, that you chose, but not illustration. I didn't hear about illustration until I went to college.
No.
Children's books, I didn't even know someone actually, I don't know why I never put it together, that someone actually draws those pictures and it is a job.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And that people that make movies are artists. And it was filmmakers,
people that write scripts and write books,
and the animators. It wasn't for some reason those jobs are not seen under the umbrella of an artist.
I think it is. I think they are it is coming up more often now, because I know my daughter has talked about it. But yeah, when we grew up, that was never mentioned or even thought about as a potential career when you were in high school or even going into college. Usually, it was. I I yeah, I wish it was. I wish there was more of a focus on the arts. Period. Um,
And the business part
yes.
side of it, that
Yeah.
that is something that I don't know why it's not connected. Like if you go into medicine, they teach you medicine, and they teach you like my, um,
Well, I mean, they don't
yeah,
teach you how to run your own clinic,
they
but
don't reach,
yeah, so
but
I
they
think,
do show, for example, I know my daughter is following some programs. They have speakers from different fields come and say, this is what I do. And maybe that's what career day was invented. Now maybe some people complain about it, and that's why career day, but I am yet to hear anyone say, invite an artist and say, hey, this is a career as well.
well, we had
You did?
an
Okay.
animator was at my daughter's middle school one day,
Okay.
and which was she was so excited because she loves art. So
Oh,
yeah,
good.
it is so beneficial for children to um see what their possibilities are. So that's another thing. This is probably like a totally different topic, but growing up, children have no idea, and our high schools encourage them to figure out what they're going to do, what their career is going to be, what college are you going into. All my children are in their teens and graduating, and so they're all having to make these big life decisions and choices. But if you don't know what all of your possibilities are, how are you supposed to decide?
Right.
So a lot of times we make the wrong choices, or not the wrong choices, but we'll choose something because we don't realize how many other options we have or what those jobs even entail. And that's why I chose graphic design, because I thought, well, that's something that has art in it. And I hear graphic designers make good money. So so I became a designer. And but I always illustrated, even in my classes. I still was always focused more on illustration than design. I enjoyed it much more.
With what you're saying, and yeah, it might take us off the topic. If you're hearing this, take this from someone who's approaching 50. I'm 47 years old. And so are you, I believe. If I told your
47.
age. There
Yeah.
you go. I
I
told
don't
your age,
care.
sorry.
I'm 47. I
There you
don't
go.
care.
Don't do the career that you are expected to do, or that you feel people are expecting from you, because at the end of the day, you're going to go back and find what you were supposed to do. And that's why this topic came about, because I finally, and I've told a friend of mine too, I finally feel like I found what I was supposed to do all along. And yeah, gosh, it's kind of sucks. I don't know if I can say that in the thing. It stinks. I don't know if it's that a curse word, and puts it in a different category of
I
like,
don't think so.
just in case. It stinks that it took me this long, but I'm so glad I found it, because it's more than a job. I'm happy to do it. I wake up wanting to do it, and I finally feel fantastic about it. Like, this is what I was put here to do. I was given this artistic ability for a reason. I'm finding it. I'm like, it is almost like you finally open water and it just flows. And so, yeah, like you're saying, how do you know what to choose when you don't know what you're capable of doing? And like, I don't, in Ecuador, they would make us choose. Like when you get to high school, you had two tracks:
Mm,
biology or mathematics, or like engineering, mathematics. Those were your
yeah.
choices. Art was
Mm,
not, and nothing else was a choice. I don't know how it is now. It's been many, many years since I came here.
mhm.
um
But I think
it's
that's
true.
why a lot of artists start later in life. I
Yeah.
think there are a lot of yes, of course. I mean, yes, there are people who continue younger, but I think there are a lot of people who still feel that tug and that, the urge to be artistic, and it just never leaves. And so they continue doing it. And then as they're older, they realize, I think, I can't ignore this, I can't ignore it anymore. And you switch over.
So who cares if you have to have a second job on the side and until this takes on more traction? So be it. So, but that doesn't mean you're not an artist. And stop saying someday, and stop saying, what is that word that we see a lot when you're like aspiring illustrator, aspiring? Stop.
If you're illustrating, you're an
Yeah.
illustrator. You don't have to be paid for it to be called an illustrator either.
It could be that your skill level is not great. Okay, you're still an artist. You're creating it. You are an artist, and you're going to improve, and we are going to improve, and our styles are going to change, and you continue to work. This is something that you continue to grow. You're never done. But you're an artist. You created something. You're a creator. Yeah. That's it. In our case, visual creators. So for me, because I would cringe, seriously, someone would say, so I hear you draw. I'm like, yeah, kind of, yeah. And seriously, I wanted people not to talk about it, and I wanted people not to see me as that. My brother, though, he was and I have a book story that I'm going to dedicate to him when I actually do it, because my older brother, he gave me my first art table.
Oh.
Yeah, he's 5 years older than me. And I got a little misty eye here. Oh, sorry. Oh my goodness.
What?
Maybe I won't talk about it.
Oh no. I feel like this is a really emotional topic for us.
I think so.
Both,
oh my goodness.
Which
okay.
I didn't even consider it when you brought the topic up. I'm like, wow, whatever.
I know.
I can talk about that. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, now I'm thinking about my childhood and my past and relatives. Yeah. So yeah, this is I think but I think this would probably be an emotional topic for anyone who's an artist, because
we're emotional beings.
Yeah. It's okay. We can take a break if you want.
No, there's no need. I got misty eye because he bought me my first art table. And I don't know if it meant as much for him as it meant for me. And I guess.
Well, he was validating you.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
And he's 5 years old. So if I was 13, this is an 18-year-old kid.
Oh my god.
With his money. And he bought it for Christmas. And it was a lovely little artist table for real, with the lamp and all that, and the tilting head. Cool. And I loved it. I'm sorry, let me all right. My gosh, where did that come from? Okay.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say you were like 25. And
no, I was 13. He's the only one that I would say never, and he's super proud. Oh my goodness. If he tells everybody that I'm an artist, he's a police officer. And it's the person that I think, and people that if family members are probably going like, you, because we didn't always get along great, siblings. My younger brother's an artist, but my older brother's a police officer. But I actually learned to draw watching him. He used to draw. So I don't know if it's something.
Your older brother?
Yes.
Oh.
But he never pursued it as a career. I don't know if inside he wanted to and he never did, or he just didn't. He just liked to draw and that's it. And he didn't want that as a career. That's fine. But he's actually the one person that tells everybody that his sister draws. And not draws like, oh, my sister draws, but actually she's an artist. Like he's very supportive.
That's cool.
So you got me too. Sorry, some tears were there. But I think what changed for me was like getting back to the episode, Maybe this is a good cleansing episode at the end of the year.
Yeah. Yeah. Get it all out.
Yeah. So what got me out of that and actually accepting it and feeling, not only accepting it, but being proud of it, was halfway through 2019. Like I said, that I went to that first professional environment. And when I realized how far away I was from what the other kids were doing, what the other professionals that were there were doing, and I realized my portfolio wasn't there, and I got to work halfway. So it was validated through some external and some internal things. External was when I began to get some positive feedback from other artists, like winning the contest and things like that. So that's an external source that made me feel more able to own the name, that yes, this is who I am, and I'm proud of it, and I'm good at it, and I am going to get better at it. So that was an external. But internally, I started becoming more confident in my drawing skills. And I put there, not to say that drawings sometimes don't come out. Sometimes it just don't come out. Not the way that I was hoping or the way I see it in my head. But when you get to that point that you see it in your head, and most often you can actually make it happen, it feels good. It validates you. You're like, okay, but that comes from practice.
Yeah.
It's not going to come overnight. It comes from doing it over and over and over again, because this is a career that requires practice. Even if you're born with skills, you need to practice. So that was one of the things that made me feel that what I'm saying, for the last year and a half, I have been comfortable, super comfortable. And I was also like, this is it. This is who I am. Like, I found my thing, right? I think I used to quit before the illustrations were done.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
sometimes when I put something away now, it's because, okay, I just don't have any more time to put into this drawing, and I know it doesn't really matter. It's for something like this. I'm going to stop. I might come back to it later. But I used to not finish illustrations because I didn't think I could do better than what I had already done. Or I just didn't know what to do to it to get it to the next level. So my work never looked professional. And I stopped doing that. I now I work past that stage. I began to, like, with the iPad, like I don't mind squishing all my layers and committing to that. That's fine, because one thing is, I know I can replicate it. So if I lose a file, I mean, I would be upset if I lose all the files, because who has time to redo everything? But it's not a huge deal. It's like, oh, okay, I'll have to redo that again. It's happened. Do
you think you've gotten faster too?
Yes.
That's where I'm
Definitely.
hung up lately. Like, that's why I'm afraid to commit layers, because I know I'm still not fast.
But you are faster than you were last year.
Yes, definitely.
And you have practiced so much that you are definitely faster. You did the logo for this this conference, and you would not have ventured that a year ago.
Not in a week.
5 days?
No, I didn't even have a week. Yeah,
you had 5 days, right?
Yeah, I don't even know if it was that. I think I started after Thanksgiving. So yeah, it was like 3 days.
Okay, and you did it. And I think it's super cute, and I have my fingers crossed. I think that you will win. We'll see. I don't know the other entries, but I think it could very well win. But you would not even have tried that last year with 3 days.
No, not
for you to get an illustration from the beginning to the end.
No, yeah, I wouldn't.
Because you didn't even have a sketch done.
Yeah, no, I would have taken me, probably a couple of weeks, probably.
Yeah. So you have also gotten faster. And it's not just faster as producing fast, but producing what you want, what you see in your head, and being able to get it done with less, not with less effort, but with less tries and over and over again to have to try to get there. So I think, so I put here, I have slowly realized that I was an artist all along, but I was just afraid to say I'm one and to be one.
Yeah.
And to be one in all aspects. Like being an artist comes into all aspects of my life now. That's who I am. It's not just a career. And that's the difference that do you want to talk about illustrations? We talked about, I put something there called the ugly middle. I don't know if you experience it. I experience
it every time, and sometimes I don't get past it. Sometimes I get stuck in the ugly middle. Yeah.
And when we're illustrating something, there is a section in the process of illustration that I call the ugly middle. And I know when I get there, and it's just, and I have two choices: abandon the piece or push past that ugly and then put it. And if I push past that, it comes together. And I have learned to accept that there's an ugly middle, and it will get better if I just push past that little bit. So for me, the ugly middle is my favorite part is when I'm sketching it, when I'm composing the illustration and drawing it out. That's my favorite part. Then when I start coloring, my next favorite part is when I'm rendering, just the ends, the little nickies here, the little lines and the little cast shadows and all that stuff. But the ugly middle for me is after I have put the local color and I start doing the shading. Then it falls apart for just a bit, and that becomes the ugly middle. And I'm like, I don't even know if this is going to work. Yeah. And I'm always pressed with a question: should I start over? Or should I, like, maybe this didn't come out good. Maybe this wasn't a good plan all along. Yeah. I always doubt it.
Yeah.
And I always doubt that I can do it. Even till this day, I would say recently it has stopped because I kind of like, okay, it's the ugly middle. And then I get past it. But I used to always think there's no way I can get this illustration to look right. And I always doubt I can do it before I can. So I learned to go past that. Where is your ugly middle?
Mine's the same. As soon as I start laying the flat colors down, and then I start like shading it, I always question, because the way it looks in my head as a sketch never ends up the way it looks in color, because the thing I see, the colors always end up different when I finish. I can get them close, but a lot of times what I'm seeing in my head doesn't work on paper or on.
Maybe your brain is seeing it in RGB.
I don't know.
In RGB, and you're actually painting in CMYK.
I don't know. Well, you think there's so many things you have to consider when you're picking colors and what do you want to stand out? What do you want? And when you're seeing it in your head, I guess it's just not for me. Maybe I'm not seeing it as finished. I don't know. I'm just seeing like a sketch. I don't know. But color is always challenging for me. So and I always, one thing I've seen differently as I progress is that, I used to always give up at that point. And I would just kind of like,
and you don't anymore.
Good enough.
No, but I've noticed that you don't anymore.
Like, no, I don't know.
When we go back and I do notice, like, we critique each other's works. And I notice that you don't mind now. You're like, so I used to be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say anything.
Totally honest. When we became friends, and the first time you critiqued one of my pieces, it hurt my heart.
Oh God, I'm so sorry.
Because no, you were honest, Olga. I needed it. I needed that because I didn't have a false. I didn't. I thought I was decent, but you showed me that, okay, oh no,
I'm so sorry.
Need more highlights and shadows. This is flat. And no, you were kind with it, but I think for me, you were my
I know exactly where you're going.
You
My
were
art
my,
director that
yeah,
made me, yeah, that
you were
told,
my awakening, because
yeah. Oh,
before that I was complacent in where I was, and I was like, well, it's good enough, it'll be good enough. I never did push past that part. I never pushed past what the ugly middle, or tried to, I mean, I maybe would tweak things a little tiny bit, but yeah, I never, I think I was at the point where I thought I didn't think I could be better. I didn't think I could do better. And then when you were like, well, just do this, this, and this. And I'm like, well,
this that you're saying right now, you didn't think you could be better.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. The same thing. I didn't think I could do better. And what did it take? More practice. That's it. Just more practice, and you can do better. And I'm sure we're gonna keep improving from here. You and I, everybody. Like, there are artists out there that we can go like, oh, that's amazing, and they're probably going, no, I don't think I can do better. And then eventually they do, and it's just even more amazing.
Yeah.
That is. I did ask you when we were gonna start critiquing each other. I asked you, do you want an honest critique from me?
Yes.
Or do you want to hear this is nice?
Yeah.
Because if you tell me that, I want, then I know how far I could go. And you said, no, be honest.
Yeah.
And I did.
I was glad you were honest. It's still, critiques hurt. They should hurt. I'm not, no, it shouldn't make you. No, that doesn't sound right either. But I mean, if someone is telling you, where you need improvement, no one walks around thinking, if you didn't fix it already, then you didn't know about it. So hearing that you need to make these changes or do better in this area, it's going to affect you. But you were never cruel with it. You were still kind. And you're right. You always ask, like, do you want honest? Or do you
tell me what you want.
Give it to me.
If we don't do that, you said you were complacent. And I understand that, because I have been there too. It's just kind of like, if this is working for you, then why change it? But then
I was getting by.
And I'm not gonna trash self-publishing books, but that's what you were doing. And some self-publishing books have increased in quality like a ton. But you were doing just self-publishing books, and you wanted to get into traditional. And if you didn't make that leap, you are not going to be able to get into traditional.
Yes. And I had submitted with the stuff that you were critiquing me on. I had submitted to agents, and I got denied. And I knew I did. I mean, I did want to be better, but like you said, I was like, well, I'm still getting work here. Why bother? Why be uncomfortable? That's the other thing.
Uncomfortable. Yes, you've said it.
It's really easy to sit in that area where oh, I'm good enough, or oh, I can do okay here. But then there's a part of you that there is a part of you that wants to be better, of course, and you want to improve. But I could have just stayed there and stayed in self-publishing. I think it would have been fine. But there's still a lot of things that were challenging for me, and still are.
If you're pining for, I want to have my books on a bookshelf. I want to walk into Walmart and see my book on the shelf. I want to walk into Target. I want to walk into Barnes and Noble. I want to walk Books A Million. I want to see my book there. You have to kind of reverse engineer how that artist got there, and know where that leap has to come. And I think that's the fact that you had your moment then, and I didn't know I brought your moment, but thanks. Okay. And I had my moment with an art director that hurt, but made me realize how far off I was from where I wanted to go. Yeah. It's be uncomfortable, oh my gosh, I had no idea that this was going to come out.
I didn't even think about it until now.
I didn't know it hurt. You were very stoic about it, and you didn't say anything. And And I got you now that I didn't know
But it pushed
that was
me
your moment.
into the direction I wanted to, it pushed me over the edge, not the edge, pushed me up the stairs, like
Yeah,
I was stuck on one step, and then you just encouraged me to keep climbing and keep going.
good. I'm glad that it's worked out. And look, you have an agent now. You're working on your
Yeah,
first dummy for hopefully you read your red debut picture book. And if it's not,
that's
and what do I tell you behind the scenes? Are you writing your next book? Are you
yeah.
writing your next manuscript? I know I am like a flea
Yeah.
on a dog. I'm like, no, we're not done. We're not done. But how many stories do I send to you and you say something back to me and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I didn't want to hear that, but yeah, maybe she's right. And I hit the
Yeah.
other way.
Yeah.
Um, wow. Okay. See, this is a year of sentimental stuff.
Mm.
So let's see, move on to the how can we help how can you help yourself feel more like an artist and be proud of that label? And this is a good tie to the last episode of this year.
Mm.
How to come to terms with this is who you are, this is where you're going. Let's do what you did right now. Is you go back and see what you have accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
Look back, and it doesn't matter how small it is still a step towards your goal in the direction that you wanted to go in. It does not matter how tiny it is. What did you do? Did you learn to work with color better? Did you learn your values better? Are you composing better composition? Did you finish one project? Did you push past the ugly middle?
You know what?
Anything.
You finished your first, no, well, it's not your first, but I was gonna say you finished your first full color completed book this year.
Yes. It's yes, not my, and that is
Well,
my, yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, my journey is kind of weird. It's a lot of, the first book I got is my book.
Yeah.
I had done self-publishing stuff, but it was just decades
Mm.
ago. A complete different ball game that it is now. So yeah, I did. My that's seeing it all together with the color choices and I'm proud of it. I'm happy. And what I am a little bit not nervous, I would say, about, because I'm entering something that I have not had to
Mm.
do before,
Yeah.
marketing. That world kind of
Mm.
scares me. But what am I doing? Like, that I'm doing this behind the scenes. I am reverse engineering everything.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how do you get there? What are the steps that I have to do to get there? And I'm already putting my buttocks in a row. It's that's how you say it. So that I learn. I am making connections with who I need to make connections with. I'm learning the platforms that I need to learn, and that will be my next challenge to climb. How the marketing part of this. I've never done a school visit.
Mm.
That has me a little bit worried. I have been a volunteer at schools. I have been, the mom that helps out, and they are.
Yeah.
I have worked. I was a substitute teacher for the age group that I would be targeting, but I've never done a school visit as an author or author illustrator, and I'm looking forward to it, but I don't know how to approach it yet.
Yeah. I think that's something all authors deal with. I mean, it's challenging for all authors.
Yeah. And even though this book is happening, and this is for everybody out there, because we always say to have these 3 books. Don't shop the same book around over and over again when you go to conferences and all that. I'm writing. I just submitted 3 more to my agent this past week. And I'm already going to submit another one to my critique group. So always have something going on, so that this baby that you're working on, my debut picture book, is not the only thing I have going on.
Do you
For
call
several
yourself an
reasons.
author?
I do,
Mm-hmm.
and that is recent.
That's
Yeah.
something I can't do that yet. I don't. I still don't.
I think I felt comfortable with it when, and this one was related to
When your
I-
book got picked up, or
yes, not at the beginning when it got sold, when
Mhm.
the publishing house sold it, I mean found it, bought it.
Mhm.
But as I was editing with my editor, that's when I
Um,
said, oh yeah, that I
oh,
am the
I wrote
author of
this.
this book. I did. This
Yeah.
is, and yes, I am.
Yeah.
And when I started writing more, when I,
Oh yeah.
yeah, that was weird. I never thought I would write. Why, like, write? It's like
Yeah.
I draw. I'm an illustrator. Um, no, yeah, I am an author, and that's very weird to say. Not so much anymore, but to,
Mm,
yeah, I like, yeah, it is. It is just another part of using your creativity. And since I am submitting manuscripts where I won't illustrate. I am submitting manuscripts where I will illustrate. That's something else too. I got to the point that I get to choose what I want to illustrate because I am writing so many stories. So I get to be like, I want to sell these as manuscripts only. But
cool.
I think that's the difference between writer and author. I think, I don't know. I've heard somewhere that when you're published, then it's an author. When you're writing before you're published, you're a
Oh,
writer. But I
yeah.
don't know how true that is. That's what I have heard.
Yeah.
But so what are you like? What are you going back? What are you most proud of this year? And I hope their listeners are also thinking, what did they
Yeah.
accomplish? What did they jump forward with?
Mm. For me, working on a nighttime book. That's huge. Not huge, but I mean, I think 2 years ago I would not have felt comfortable um drawing nighttime scenes. I know I tried, I did, but I think I've definitely improved immensely over the last few years with that.
Also, the compositions you are composing in this book that you're doing. I see you trying different angles that
Mm,
you before you didn't want to
yeah,
try.
yeah, before I was a lot more flat and straight on and um safer. Um Also finishing the manuscript. We keep talking about writing and we're supposed to be talking about being an artist.
No, it's all, but it is all
But
part of it. And especially this podcast is for children's books. And a lot of
yeah.
illustrators become authors and writers
Mm-hmm.
because of the author illustrator movement that there is right now in the publishing.
Yeah. Well, and I think there are a lot of, yeah, and I think just a lot of illustrators would like to write as well, but they feel but I also think I know there are a lot of authors and writers who would like to illustrate because then you have more control over your story when you can do the writing and the illustrating. When
Right.
you're just one or the other, you have to give up control over it. Once it reaches the publisher, then it's their choice as to how the book is created. But when you have when you're able to write the story and do the illustrations, what you see, it has more chance. I mean, what you see in your head and how you envision it has more chance of becoming a reality. um
I have
so
a question for you. When you see, and this is going back, and I'm sorry to go back to it, to the ugly middle. When you see an illustration, do you see it as an animation, as a cartoon moving, or is it a static image?
I don't know. I don't know.
Like, I have a hard time sometimes when I'm thinking about an illustration. For example, I'm already thinking of the sketches that I need to do for the promotion pieces that we're going to have, that my agent is going to send out. I see the movement of the
Uh-huh.
scene, and then I pause it and I choose which is going to be my illustration,
So you
my
see a
key
movie.
animation.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, so in animation you have the
Mm-hmm.
key cells. I mean, this is traditional animation back in the cells that, like now I think I believe, I don't know, but I think in animation now the computers do the in between. But there was an animator that would do the key scenes. And
Mm-hmm.
again, I'm not in the world of animation, so, but as I wanted to, and that's what I was planning to be before. Um, so the key and the key movements, like the beginning, the middle, and the end,
Mhm.
and then the in betweens are like the not so exciting movements. So when I think of I stopped it at the key, and then I go ahead and that's my illustration. But then sometimes I'm like, oh, doing it right before, like it loses that emotion of the aha moment, because then
Mhm.
it's already in the static motion. Like, and I have a hard time getting that's in my head to be flat on paper. So
Yeah.
that when it gets to the ugly middle, that's I'm like, it's not connecting to that feeling that I was trying to do, and why is it not working? And that's when the shadows and the things come in and all that stuff, that to push it a little bit, going into layers for me. But I was wondering, because I want to see how you do it, how you see it in your head.
I don't know. I think I do see a some like a moving picture. I think so. Like a um and I think my problem is where to freeze it. Like
Yeah.
which part I'm gonna approach it from. Like for instance, like the logo I just did for the contest, when I was thinking of a scene and I kept thinking of a tea party. So I know Alice in Wonderland so well. So I kept seeing Alice in Wonderland and I kept seeing the table from Alice in Wonderland, but that is, and then I would see the characters I wanted at the table. But the table in Alice in Wonderland is oblong. It's rectangular. And then I was like, oh, my scene has to fit 10 by 7 or whatever, I mean, it had to be a certain, and I was like, wait, how am I going to get all these characters erect, what I mean? So then I was like, I had to reverse engineer how I'm going to show the characters at the table. And then I envisioned some of them walking up to the table, and then I was like, then I envisioned some of them laughing or interacting, and then but then you're like, wait, how will this interfere with the other characters in the scene? So I think when I picture picture something, my problem is finding the focal point and then freezing it where I want it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I know the elements I want to put into the picture, and I can see them individually or just like the 2 or 3 at a time. But then when I have to approach it from like a group setting or like the big picture, I don't know how to assemble all of those things together, even in my mind. Like that's challenging for me.
I think you solved it really good, because the way you changed the perspective of the table and kind of brought it down so that
Yeah.
we were seeing it, and turning the characters that are in the foreground so that you
Yeah.
can still see who they are. I thought it was a good
But
solution
that
for it.
wasn't how I saw it in my head. I kept
It was.
seeing it as the Alice in Wonderland table, and they were all there and they were talking and laughing. But when I tried to draw it that way, it didn't work because I couldn't stack that many. Like the characters kept, like if I had to draw them like from an angle, side by side along a table, they kept interfering with each other and they would block each other in the scene. And yeah, so
Oh, I didn't see your initial sketches for
I
this.
didn't
I'm
show
really
you those.
curious. Yeah.
No, they were just scribbles. Yeah, they were just
Yeah, your
scribbles trying to
thumbnails.
figure out how to. So yeah, so I think I see it. I do see it, but like I said, a lot of times what I see in my head it's not the finished picture. Like I don't see it until I start drawing it either sometimes
Okay.
to figure it out. I don't know.
It was just a curious question. It was like, I wonder if everybody's cuckoo like me.
You're not
And yes, you
cuckoo.
are. Yes,
You're
you
not
are.
cuckoo.
You're cuckoo too. um, so I think we can start
Yeah.
to recap, because we have some important announcements to give out too.
Oh yeah.
So talking about like how to look back and congratulate yourself on whatever it is that you have done this year, because it has been an amazing year for us in our careers. A lot of things have happened, and maybe for other people will be like, oh, that's it. Or even for us 10 years from now, we'll be like, I can't believe we were so happy about, being
Starting a
number one.
podcast.
Oh yeah, starting it up, or showing up first on the search
Yeah.
for illustration, and those little things might not mean anything 10 years from now, but they are huge for us right now.
Yeah.
And so we're joyful about it. We are,
appreciate it.
yeah. And so whatever it is that you did this year, even if it wasn't art related, but if it is art related, because this is our podcast about that, if you wrote a manuscript, if you wrote a poem, if you illustrated one picture book, if you illustrated one illustration, if you practice how to draw faces, if you practice hands, whatever it is that you did that brought you one step closer to your goal, celebrate it. Celebrate it, because you are making a conscious decision to move yourself forward, because no one's going to get better just sitting down and not taking chances. We took a chance to do this crazy chance to just, hey, let's start a podcast. Hey, contact an agent. You took a chance answering that Twitter call, and you got an agent out of it. So gosh darn it, be brave, take chances, and don't be afraid to fail, because failure is part of this. It's part of the journey. So who cares? So if you failed and you're wondering, well, can you fail and be an artist? Yes, it's part of it.
Oh, I think if you're not failing,
then you're not trying.
Yeah.
If you're not failing at something, then you haven't tried.
Yeah.
And if you're succeeding at something, then you tried enough times. That's what happens. Not often do people succeed on the first try. If it happens, fantastic. But a lot of times it takes several tries. So don't give up, and don't stay in that ugly middle. Keep going, because it will get better, it will get easier, and you will be a better artist tomorrow than you were yesterday and next year. So let's go into this contest that we are giving. Sunny, you can do all this sticky stuff.
Sure. Yeah, so Olga and I were thinking about what could we do as a giveaway at the end of the year. And we've talked about critiques in the past. We talk about them all the time. And they benefited us. Well, like even in this episode, we were talking about critiques. So we figured a good way to give back is we're going to offer one person a critique from both of us on Zoom. So it'll be a live critique, and Olga and I will be there on Zoom, and we'll critique either your portfolio up to 15 images.
Yeah, 12, 15 images. That's good. We can, that's plenty.
Or 2 book covers, or 1 book dummy, so they can choose. So the winner can choose any of those things that they'd like critiqued. And we're going to host the giveaway on Instagram. And when we post the giveaway post, you can comment on the post for 1 entry, or you can follow us for another entry, and you can tag a friend for a 3rd entry, or you can share in your stories for a 4th entry. So you can enter the giveaway up to 4 times on that 1 Instagram post. And then we'll announce the winner before the end of the year, and then we'll arrange
we'll announce it on Instagram, right?
Yeah, we'll announce it on Instagram. Yeah.
Okay. So every action you take, like Sunny said, gives you another chance to win. And this will be not a 15-minute critique that you get at a conference. This will be an in-depth critique from 2 artists. I think it's a very good, I mean, I would have liked to have this. I think it will help definitely push you forward. Don't get your feelings hurt like we did. I'm sure they're going to get hurt if they are not. I didn't know. But I hope it is that moment that that we got that made our path change. So wherever state you're in, enter, because it doesn't matter whatever state you're in, you can always move forward and
you can always use feedback.
Right. Yeah, so there we go. I guess we should wrap this one up. Oh, subscribe to the newsletter, because then you'll see what contest or anything else that we might be giving away or anything that we are planning on for next year.
Yeah.
So we leave you with that, and we leave this year and with good wishes for a wonderful holiday and whatever it is you celebrate. And let's hope 2022 is amazing.
I hope so. And a happy new year.
Yes. Be proud, be confident, and say, I am an artist, and let's create an awesome 2022.
I am an artist.
Yes, you are. I'm kidding. I am an artist with your whole being. You are.
I am an artist. There.
Be proud.
All right. Well, thanks.
Happy holidays, everyone. And
Bye.
we'll see you next year, hopefully. Bye-bye.